Hey everybody and welcome to DraftKings. That's right, it's week 2 of the English Premier League. My name is Taron Atkins. As ever, I'm joined by Andy Davis, Edo Del Monte, and of course, staff writer Jamie Hinks. We're going to focus on the match of Tottenham Hotspur at home to Crystal Palace. That's right, it's a London derby. It's an exciting one, and this does have some importance to two members of our panel. So let's start with the neutral. Let's start with Chelsea fan, Edo Del Monte. Edo, how do you see this game going, and do you care?
No, I do very much care because I picked Tottenham to win the league and I'm already regretting it. And so is Andy Davis. I'll have not only jinxed you, but also I'll be wrong. But no, I'm sure it'll be fine. I think Spurs have a big advantage here just because of something Jamie mentioned last week, Crystal Palace's weakness on set pieces. And you have Tottenham who have Alderweireld who's headed in 4, and Lamela has been involved in 7 goals in his last 7 Premier League games with Tottenham. So the thing about Tottenham against Everton was, Pochettino teams don't necessarily start, like their first game of the season will generally not be a great one, but I've seen them improve drastically afterwards. Even his Southampton teams tended to be like that. This Crystal Palace side looks rather weak at the moment. There isn't that attacking option. The midfield could get dominated by Wanyama and whatnot. And even on the wings, for example, Suarez just came back to training. Well, just came back. He came back, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday, but he didn't look very good last week, and you're playing against Spurs' 2 attacking fullbacks. Spurs especially changed the game last week against Everton. They threw on Janssen, and all of a sudden, Everton really had no answer. So you do wonder if Crystal Palace can hold out. I think they're going to probably concede on the set piece. And the thing is, this time around, at least Spurs know how to play. They know Pochettino's system. You were seeing signs of that against Everton. It may not be the greatest game for Harry Kane, but I think another midfielder, or maybe even Janssen himself, will sneak in with another goal. So I have Spurs winning 2-0.
2-0 to Spurs. Let me remind everyone out there that Crystal Palace, they lost their first game of the season last week at home to West Brom. Spurs, sorry, I don't mean to rub it in, it's just a fact, I'm sorry. And of course, Spurs, they got a spirited draw in the end at Goodison against a new look Everton. I'm going to go with Andy now. You're a Spurs man. You're an excited Spurs man. Tell us if you are.
Yeah, I thought we were rubbish in the first half against Everton, but amazingly, Pochettino is now able to make game-changing substitutions, which he was never able to do last year, bringing Janssen on, and we were a completely different animal in the second half. Eric Lamela particularly played well, and he's been our most consistent player for quite some time now, Eric Lamela. I got a feeling that DraftKings, guys, I think what people need to do is really look at any changes, changing your teams when the teams are announced. I've got a sneaky suspicion that Harry Kane may be rested or at least partnered by Janssen up front, in which case I'd put your house on Janssen because he looks hungry, he looks sharp, and he looks like he's going to get a goal. I think he'll get at least another half against Crystal Palace because Harry Kane just looks exhausted and just needs a rest, he needs a holiday. I can see Spurs only playing with one defensive midfielder as well, so I can see Dyer or Wanyama missing out the entire game and then perhaps starting with the team that they finished against Everton because we're at home, and no disrespect to Palace, but because we're playing Palace and their confidence is going to be knocked after the West Brom game. So if Pochettino, wants to sort of take a bit of a gamble on that, I can see Spurs winning comfortably 2-0. If he decides he wants to go with the 2 defensive midfielders like he normally does, then a 1-0 win to Spurs. But a Spurs win, I don't think it'll be a particularly convincing Spurs win because we never do at this stage of the season, but a win all the same.
Yeah, this is interesting. So you think that perhaps Pochettino might go for the European route, 2 strikers in the home game against a depleted and probably demoralised opponent?
I think he has to. I think we need to give Janssen some game time because he's going to be crucial for us this season. I don't think you don't spend that amount of money on the highest score in Dutch football last season just having bench warming for every single match. I think he's got to mix it up. There's a reason he bought him, and he's a very similar player to Harry Kane anyway. His hold-up play is excellent, and he likes to take a lot of shots during a match. So I can see him starting.
Exciting times because, yeah, Harry Kane has actually got some competition here. We have to see what effect that has on him, indeed, if he does play, which I think he will. Jamie, the beleaguered Crystal Palace, that is your team. How are they going to do? It's not the ideal.
I'm going to echo what Andy said about Kane, just because I think he'll be quite pedestrian in this game, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they rest him. We conceded to Solomon Rondon last week, who I like, but yeah, we weren't very good from set pieces. The thing with Palace is they're under Pardew. We've always been very poor at home and very good in our away matches, which is what gives me a little bit of confidence. Although we have no one to sit in front of the defence anymore because we've sold our one of my favourite Palace players of probably the time I've been alive in Jedinak, who was kind of the heartbeat of the club.
Where's Jedinak gone?
Gone to Aston Villa. For peanuts, I presume. And also we've lost Balassi. I don't think it's as much of a loss in the dressing room. I think Jedinak's a huge loss. How you replace that, I've no idea. I'm starting to kind of see what Newcastle fans are going on about when it comes to Pardew. But yeah, I mean, we won here last season in the FA Cup. The constant from that game is that Vaughan was in goal. Martin Kelly will also be playing in this game because Suarez is injured. But I'm not sure whether we can cope with... I just don't think we've got enough. If they play that many players in midfield, we've got no one protecting the defence. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be Ali running the show in front of our defence.
But the return of Andros Townsend, is that going to be an impact?
He'll score a lot of DraftKings points. He got over 22 points last week and he didn't score a goal or get an assist. So you'll get points from Townsend. He's not. I can't see him scoring. I mean, if any team knows how to play against him, it'll be Spurs. And I'm taking
perhaps a point to prove as well.
Maybe, but like I'm taking that. Like he did that against them last game of the season last year. So, I mean, does he still have that point to prove? I'm not sure. I'm just a bit down on Palace until we start buying some players, because if we don't buy anyone, we're going to be scrapping it out down there, and you'll be right, almost, probably. So,
Do you think Chunky's days are numbered?
Depends what he does.
It's 2 wins this year, isn't it?
Depends what the... Well, yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. It depends what his plan is, because if there isn't a plan, he should go, because there's no... You can't just sell all your... We've sold 2 strikers in the last year, and they're now the top scorers in the Championship. I know
Just to add colour, Chunky is Alan Pardew, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just in case you don't know. I'm talking about Palace manager.
I'm not trying to say that Glenn Murray and Dwight Gale would see us through this, but they can score goals. We have Connor Wickham, who played well for one half and then did nothing in the second half, and that's literally it. There's no one else.
What's the score going to be?
I'm going to be optimistic and go for 1-1, but that's my heart saying it. My head probably says 2 or 3-1 to Spurs.
I'm going to go with your head as well on this. I'm going to say it's 3-0 to Spurs. I think Spurs really get the train.
We're not that good on Spurs.
I know you don't want to jinx your team, but you know what? I want to hug this guy right now because I really do feel for Jamie. I've got to say, I think you're going to be all right, Andy. But what do you guys think? Loads of points on offer here. Lots of players, Spurs players that you probably should.
Andros Townsend.
Although I've got to say, yeah, there's some very, very good Palace players. Bargain prices, I must say, for this particular game. But guys, pick your 8-man roster. You can win big. DraftKings, welcome to the big time.